Hello, and welcome to the news at when? When? The 1300s. Where? Somewhere in Italy, I think? The discovery of ancient writings and art led to a cultural rebirth or renaissance that's become somewhat unimaginatively known as the Renaissance. Here with a special retro look at things is Robert Farnaby with his Renaissance Report.
Thank you, William. Well, the year is 1300 something or other. That there is Italy, and here in cities like Venice and Florence, something exciting is happening. Actually, something rather dull is happening. But it leads to something exciting, so just bear with me. The dull thing is, they've done away with the feudal system, the one with the emperor at the top and uneducated peasants at the bottom, and opted instead for a republic, where everything is run by boring middle management types. See? I told you it was dull. However, in order to become a boring middle management type, you need a decent education, which the average Italian hasn't had in centuries. So in order to find it, they have to go old school, to an old school in fact, to the great libraries of the Islamic world, which contain classical writings from ancient Rome and Greece. These Italian boffins rediscover loads of ancient knowledge. Classical education gets something of a rebirth or a renaissance, as the French like to call it, and that's the end of that. But not for long. Soon, the Italian sculptors start taking their inspiration from the past too, basing their statues on ones from ancient Rome and Greece, and Renaissance art is born. So, thanks to big-name chisel chippers like Michelangelo, Donatello, and Leonardo da Vinci, styles of the past are brought back at last. Oh, I'm a poet, and I didn't even know it. Only I did know it, and I did that on purpose as a clever link to this next bit about poetry. Well done, me. You see, a renaissance isn't just about copying stuff. That's not a renaissance. That's just cheating, as any examiner will tell you. No, a renaissance is about being inspired by the past, but giving it a modern twist, which is where our poets come in. Yes, the likes of Dante, Petrarch, and Boccaccio, inspired by ancient writings, find a better style of rhyme that more suits their time, and become the first poets of the Renaissance. And before long, the painters start to relish that Renaissance spirit. Giotto brightens up the art world by brightening up the art world. Yes, he adds windows to his painting and introduces light and space to art for the very first time. Alberta hits upon the concept of perspective, a system of judging whether something is very, very far away or very, very close. Forgot that was there. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Renaissance art. Yes, the likes of Raphael, Titian, and Botticelli, all making their mark on the art world as they discover shadow and lifelike accuracy. And it doesn't end there. Having discovered a taste for new concepts and fresh ideas, Renaissance man becomes what we now like to call a Renaissance man. Someone who is absolutely brilliant at everything, just like me. So, sculptor Michelangelo puts down his chisel, picks up a paintbrush, and turns the Sistine Chapel ceiling into a work of art. And as for Leonardo da Vinci, well, there's nothing he can't do. He's a sculptor, painter, scientist, inventor, engineer, botanist, geologist, musician, and all-around smarty pants. Although he didn't win first place at the North Alabama State Fair, so I think I'm just a little bit better. He did, however, come up with the calculator, solar power, military tanks, and helicopters. Although, obviously not helicopters, because that's really ridiculous. What? He did? Really? Helicopters? Wow. Seems like he did come up with helicopters. Didn't think that one would bite me. And, talking about things coming back to bite you, do you remember the Republic? Well, with the Emperor's gone, Italians can vote for their leaders. And no sooner is there voting, but there's vote rigging, where corrupt families like the Borgias and Medicis can buy, bribe, or muscle their way into power. An absolute disaster, right? Wrong! You see, these corrupt families love showing off. And what do they like to spend their money on? New works of art. Yes, the rulers of Italy are personally financing the Renaissance, and it only goes from strength to strength. Even the threat of invasion only helps to fuel the march of progress. Michelangelo, Alberti, and Leonardo designed clever new forts to defend Italy from invasion. And before long, the spirit of the Renaissance is harder to contain than the waistband of my trousers on pizza night. And this new way of thinking goes right around the world. Galileo and Copernicus revolutionized astronomy. Erasmus and Descartes become the great new thinkers of a new age, replacing silly superstition with fantastic facts. And thanks to the inventors of what we now call science, men like Bacon and Hooke, Wren and Boyle, with Renaissance power do witchcraft foil, belief in witches and dark age fear, now like me.
And so we find out that the Renaissance began in the distant past.
I heard that.
It was meant to. I'm Harold Square. Thank you and good night.